what else do the governments implement? What kind of fundings do they need to implement to improve the building and to improve the development of battery factories in Europe? So I will pass it through all of you.
Yeah, you saw it.
I can start.
Yes, sure.
So I think first of all, it's good to take a bit of a step back now and see where we are in the transition. So yeah, we actually did a study a few years ago with Strategy and PricewaterhouseCoopers to look at the employment development, and we expected like around 90,000 new jobs to be created until 2025. So we're now almost there, and we are at around 30,000 jobs. So we are not where we were expecting 2 years ago in the transition. And as well, you see all the development it was already a bit referred to. On the demand side, the demand is not developing as it should. And it sounds counterintuitive because you asked me a question around the battery supply chain, and I start to talk about the demand side. But I think this is really critical to understand that we are 500 times below what we are expecting 2 years ago in production in the EU of electric vehicles. And that is, of course, due back to the entire supply chain. That is leading at the moment to these delays. Partly it's delays because it's just much more complex to start running a factory, but partly it's also, and that's, I think, especially a concern deeper down in the supply chain, and that would be my last sentence around this, is that, of course, we see the very strong pipeline of cell manufacturing, and so big that we could probably miss out on roughly a third of these facilities and still meet our goals. But if we look deeper down in the supply chains of the production of the cathode active materials, the ARH problems, no, we are not nowhere near to get demand meet supply. And then you're also talking of all the other components that are needed, like an electric motor plays a key role as well. It's something that Europe has actually a strength, similar to power electronics. We need to make sure, yes, we need to strengthen the battery supply chain, and we need to create funding for that, but we need to do it in a way that we don't just focus on the battery, but really focus on what are we here to do here if electrified cars. And then you need to have all the technologies working together. So you need the thermal management, you need the power electronics, you need the electric motors, and you need a lot of innovation in the battery supply chain. So that would be my message. We can go a bit more into details later, but that would be my first setting the objective out.
Okay, thank you for organizing this roundtable. I will be talking more from the user's point of view. We in Aube, we represent the Spanish EV drivers, and we are also part of the Global EV Alliance. I don't know if you know, but we are 60 organizations representing the EV user associations around the world, and we talk a lot about these particular questions. So from the user point of view, I think what people and the drivers want is a peace of mind. They want to be confident that they will have a car that is going to last long, and if they have any issue with the battery, there will be availability. It will be something fast and something affordable. So back to the question, having European companies that produce and deal with batteries, I think is very important for users and for drivers. And to boost electric mobility is one of the key points, because many people ask this question, right? Okay, I buy an electric car, but how long is going to last? And what happens when the battery has an issue? And this is one of the barriers for people to transition, right? So having European industry in this sector, I think, will also have a huge impact in having new drivers coming to the mobility. Those that now are a bit not sure about the battery, especially. So I think this will be a huge. And yeah, what do you think, Arturo?
Okay, it works. Okay, perfect. So first of all, I think we should switch to Spanish because this panel is like, no, it's a joke. No, first of all, well, thank you for inviting me. I'm here representing IDIVE, which is the Industrial and Technological Association, which gathers all the value chain of e-mobility in Spain. But as well, I'm Vice President of ABERE, which is the European e-mobility association. So, but let me keep you. Of course, Germany is the mirror. The European countries maybe should look at in order to evolve in the automotive industry and especially electric vehicle market. In Spain, we have a very complete ecosystem of we produce all kind of electric vehicles. We produce all kind of charging point infrastructures. We produce second life batteries. We are working in order to establish recycling batteries factories. And this is a very good environment because indeed we have mines. So we have lithium mines, the second lithium mine in Europe, and we also produce tungsten and copper and so on. So we have a very good ecosystem. And what are we demanding of the authorities? First of all, governments must support the industry and facilitate private initiative. So the first thing is to let the private initiative to work. And they have to take advantage of these European funds we have thanks to the Next Generation funds. So we are doing that. We have some programs in order to boost the industry for increasing factories for producing electric vehicles, for example. But we are as well using money for recycling plants. So it's very interesting because in the near future we will have 2 recycling I think 4 recycling plants, battery recycling plants, and we will use it for second life batteries for stationary applications, for solar power and so on, but as well for renewing batteries to put in the vehicles again. So, and it will reduce the amount of the cost of batteries for the OEMs. So it will be very interesting because we are working this circular economy, and I think the support of the government must come from the letting the private initiative to spread initiatives and to conduct the money to do things in order to increase the industry, because of course we have a huge challenge in Europe and we need to face it on a better manner. So that's the most important thing, in my opinion.
Yes, thank you, Arthur. And for us, it's always very important. What do we need to change on the regulations? What provides a better basic for investment in Europe? And for me, it's always very important that we're not just focusing on Germany. I'm German, but it's a European idea. And I think for many years, the German auto industry has been very dominant, but we have to share, we have to be a part of the European Union. And so the big question is, like, I personally see that countries like Romania are pushing really fast forward. First of all, they have a strong subsidy up to 12,000 euros for electric car. We give subsidies in Romania. In Germany, 0. I mean, there we see the actual situation where we're going. So let's not always put Germany up at the top. I mean, I'm really a little embarrassed what's happening in Germany right now. So therefore, what kind of regulations do we need to change to move faster forward? Because for us, the most important thing about electromobility is it's fast. And why I'm saying this, for me, I'm living in Berlin, and as you know, the gigafactory of Tesla is next in my neighborhood. This factory was built in 2 years. 2 years. I mean, this is amazingly fast what's happening from 0 to producing 100,000 and even more Teslas a year. So that's the most important thing, that electric mobility is moving really, really fast. And what's of course happening, the Chinese market is even faster than the European. So where do we have to jump in to change regulations so that the market is prepared for a big production of electric vehicles besides the demand?
Yeah, so the demand plays an important role, but I think there is some role for purchasing incentives, of course, but also for private initiative, because it's also about how, if the cost of ownership is already beneficial, then it's not a matter of money, then it's a matter of making sure that the person who cannot buy it today, over the time, can finance this extra upfront investment. So there was also smarter leasing, but of course, governments play a role in that. Also, maybe in Finland, working as well with the grid operators, the energy providers. How can we make sure that there's monetization of the stabilization role that electric vehicles can play as well? But then I think we also have to look at where the differences are and why are we now today in a different situation than 2-3 years ago. And that is towards US IRA and its energy cost, both which show on the one hand the US starting to put much more money in there, both in new facilities, but also to convert existing facilities. And the energy costs in Europe went through the roof. Of course, they have stabilized since then, but it's still the price differential is very big. So and that is not easy. That's not something that you can do today. We have seen there things taken, permitting before is having an impact. Even in Germany, we now see that the grid is getting extended a bit faster for the first time in many years. So I think a lot of the things that are being done are now done, and now it's about implementing them across the single market as well, which will be hard enough to do. So I would say the next Commission mandate, maybe make sure that what is now on the table is getting implemented, rather than think of yet 5 other regulations that will solve one per issue in budget. So it's really about that, about making sure that the energy costs go down, that there is sufficient supply of renewables. But a new thing, there is also a need for some form in there. Again, it's not about more money, but about consolidating money that's there, making sure that there's one fund rather than all these different European initiatives. So put a little bit of guarantees, a little bit of support, maybe for the OPEX, for the CAPEX in the beginning, to really get this dynamic going. And it's much more important to get a signal there than necessarily whether this is 300 billion or 200 billion, because in the end, there is a maximum one markets can absorb anyway. That's why the signal.
Yeah, no, this is very interesting. So I think that until some years ago, one of the main barriers for drivers was to the price, right? The price was more expensive. So this is something that now is changing. So some governments, sometimes they put the effort into monetary policies, which might help. But this is something that is changing now, because now we have new models that are more affordable, and this trend is going to continue. So I think the focus now should be to switch to other type of barriers as well, and the regulations as well should also understand this new reality as well. So one of the key issues, I think, is the variety of regulations and the huge amount of diversity, as you mentioned. Each country is doing their own thing, each region and each city is doing their own thing. So for drivers, this is very confusing. Maybe sometimes you go to a city and you don't know, okay, can I park here or not? Is it allowed? Is it free? And this amount of different regulations is creating anxiety for drivers and confusion. And you have to study if you drive from Spain to Munich, you have to analyze, okay, I need this tag to come to this country. I need this. So all of this, I think, creates confusion, and this is something that I think policies should work on, to try to coordinate and cooperate more. So at the end, the drivers can easily go from one place to another. They can charge with the same application. They know that they have a label, that this label is going to work, and more cooperation. This is what I think should be done from the public point of view.
And you?
Yeah, I take a point by my colleague because I'm suffering as a user as well in Spain. But The main problem we're facing in Europe, especially in Spain, because as Nestor said, we have 17 regions, 17 governments, the central governments, local governments. It's crazy. But it's not a problem of establishing new regulations, the problem or lack of regulations. The problem is that we have an excess of regulations in Europe. We are always discussing about regulations, everything. So if you think in a market, a very new market, for example, the automation, the cars that are self-conducted, so you can do it in Arab Emirates, because if you do it in Spain, it's impossible, or in some parts of Europe, because we need to regulate everything, and we need to discuss for years everything. So this is crazy. We are losing time. We are for many years we are looking at other markets, looking at what are they doing, and we are starting to discuss how can we regulate. We have to bear in mind that the electromobility market not only entails the automotive sector, it entails the electric market. So, at least in Spain, the electric market is over-regulated, so you can do anything, and you need to comply with thousand regulations, and this is crazy. You can do nothing if you don't accelerate it, and I don't know what's the solution. But maybe the solution should be, okay, in the next 5 years, we will be blind from regulations, so we will, spread the market, and we will evolve, and then we can start to do something. But the real problem is that it's an over-regulated market, and this is crazy.
Thanks, Arturo. Definitely, that's a big part about European policy regulations. And as we all know, there are many people just working on creating new regulations, which are not always necessary. So we are already at the end of our panel. I just quickly want every one of you, to have 1 or 2 sentences. What you think will be the best way to create a better future for electric vehicles in Europe? Just 1 or 2 sentences. Thank you.
So maybe then go beyond Europe. So the raw materials is something we didn't discuss. So I think Europe, and if we're doing it, but we need to be much more serious about, we need to collaboration with foreign country markets. Also, we need to ratify the trade agreements that we have, make sure that there is raw material partnerships with them, that we allow offtake, that we work together in private initiatives, but that we make sure that there is a diversified sourcing and also the processing of raw materials. I think we really should. I will add something, sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that we have to understand that we all have the same goal. Sometimes we are doing our own projects and things like that. My point is that we should cooperate more. And we are all part of the European Union. And we have to be fast, as Arturo said, because everyone in the world is big, and there are many people doing faster things. So I think more cooperation between different entities, including the users in the decisions that the companies are making, and including other associations. I think this is very important. That's why we have this panel. So that's what I want to say, that associations are very important to canalize the voice of the companies, the voice of the users, and more cooperation is needed if we want to achieve our goals. So at the end, we all have the same goal. So this is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, in the same line, it's, in my opinion, a public-private collaboration, because it's absolutely necessary that public administrations hear the private initiative and collaborate with them, and let the industry work. The public administration should help industry to evolve and to provide funds and to help the private initiative, and it will go faster than we expect. And of course, to reduce regulation is mandatory.
Okay, so thanks for this round. Now we're going to go to Q&A, and again, we are opening up for questions from the audience. So please raise your hands so that we can answer your questions. Are there any microphone left for? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. So Simon from Battery. I have a question in terms of regulations. I think another message here was that there are so many regulations in Europe, and then it's specific ones within the countries. From your point of view, where should we tackle this issue? Because it's such an entangled network of regulations. And it's usually hard to grasp like where to start. So maybe someone has a brilliant idea how we can address this. Because I think it's really, really of an issue where to start on this point. Just come. I do. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Well, first of all, I think that every country has their own problems. In Spain, we are facing a lot of problems in terms of regulation. But the majority of the regulation depends on Europe, because we need to hear what is Europe doing, and then we have to put in our regulations. So I think the European Commission should be more, relaxing in order to establish all kind of regulations, for example, for batteries, but for batteries and as well for charging installation, for electricity, it's crazy because you need to be an expert on everything if you want to do something. So I think it must start from the European Commission. So we need to relax. We need to take an ibuprofen, and we need to let the industry evolve. And we need to look at what's happening in the geopolitical situation. And we are looking at China. We are scared of China, but we have let China evolve, and now we are facing what we have created. So that's the point. And we are looking at, for example, in Europe and in Spain, we are looking at Latin America. Oh, hello, Latin America. And we are going to study how to regulate a lot of things. And China is entering Latin America because they are smarter. That's real. And it's a problem that comes from the heart of Europe. So I think we need to start the European Commission and to facilitate this market.
So we really should go also Daniel and talk to him, right? Who's just
Thank you.
First of all, very good question. So thank you for this question, because that's a big issue. How can we reduce the regulation? Personally, I think we have to get more into the mood, and that's what I said at the beginning. We have to get more into the mood of an emergency situation. We are in an emergency. Yeah, that's the main part. First of all, of climate change, as we know, it's coming closer and running over us. And second, or maybe first, Europe is falling back. We know this. Yes, we see this out of many issues, and regulations is a big part about it. And so again, let's look how and Elon Musk built up a gigafactory near Berlin. I mean, in 2 years, Mercedes-Benz, who is a German company, would need like 10 years, I would guess, or at least 8 years for building up the same facility. And Elon Musk did it in 2 years as a foreigner coming to Germany. So first of all, I mean, the big part of what he was doing is he was risking a lot, because he just skipped the regulations, I mean, he just built it and built this gigafactory with this situation that they could knock down the factory again because of regulations, But he built it, said, I want to build this gigafactory here near Berlin, and it started producing, as I said, after 2 years, and he took the risk. He really took the risk, and this factory is not safe on all the regulations. He just built it and he's just producing it. So it's this emergency mind. I want to do it. We need to do it fast, and he did it. So maybe let's put it also more in this situation, and let's take more risk, because that's the only way how we can move forward in a fast way and can realize projects. And don't be scared. The German angst is not helping here. We have to take the challenges. We have to take the risks. And I think this might be also a good idea to jump over regulations, even they are there. Maybe also, the guys from Southern Europe are more into that, but that's the only way in some parts. And there was, of course, no politicians who would say, okay, let's close down the gigafactory again because it doesn't fulfill all the regulations. There are some water issues, maybe you heard this in the press. There are issues about HR, and so and so. And they took the risk they're producing, and the politicians weren't going up again and saying, no, we're going to close it. No, they did. They just let it go. So this is kind of a situation which happens in Germany, in Berlin,
But in some way, you are putting the pressure on entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Maybe the governments should be the present one, so they should facilitate. Because if I were an entrepreneur, well, I could be brave, and I could do things like Elon Musk or whatever. Elon Musk has a bit more money than me, and he can do that. But the problem is that we need the government sends the correct signals to do that, because if not, you can be brave and you can say, okay, I'm going to do that. But maybe I could face some problems in the future. So why the government should facilitate it?
So as a lobbyist, I want to also do a bit of a mea culpa. No, so I think we are dealing with a new market. So at the beginning, you need to standardize a lot. So a battery passport was something that we partly also wanted, because we want to make sure that the batteries are actually clean, that we actually have a market that consumers, and before that the OEM, the vehicle manufacturer, can decide what is the cleanest battery on the market and how do I do that. No, so I think yes, there has been a lot of regulation, probably also a bit too much from time to time. But now let's implement it. Let's look at where are, for instance, regulations incoherent. There are a couple of examples that I can give. And we really need to fix those incoherences. And I think it's not just about regulating less or getting rid. Maybe not every city needs to have its own approach. Maybe there can be more collaboration there. But from a European perspective, I think this is as well about looking at what is incoherent, how can we fix it, but as well, this will be an entire new industry of digital tools, as well about how can we digitalize the implementation, how can we be smarter about implementing regulations, because I fear that, to be very honest, 90%, 95% of what we came up with had a very good reason. And maybe it's not fully fit for purpose, it needs to be amended, but getting rid of it probably will create more problems than fixing it.
So to summarize this from my understanding, you're saying there's also one thing is we have to take risk capture, and the second one there is we have to go to Daniel to talk to him, of course, and then which I like, the approach is on streamlining the process on going through regulations. But maybe if just one sentence answer, please, because I don't want to take up too much time. What is the timeline that you project in order to do that? Because digitalizing the bureaucracy, I know from Germany, it's a tremendous process. So just your idea.
So it takes time. We see it now with the carbon border adjustment mechanism, which was introduced. Companies have to report, nothing was in place, and Excel files flying around. It probably will take you 2 or 3 years, but what we do see is that everyone, if you would ask in the past about a methodology to measure carbon, there would be endless discussions with all the engineers and everyone had a perfect solution. Now, finally, we're talking about what solution would work. So sometimes putting pressure also helps a bit. But yeah, it will take a couple of years. We are in emergency situation. I know. So, but this is what I come up with.
No, I think the answer was maybe 5 years ago. So yeah, so I think that we don't realize that sometimes here we are very slow, and the world is big, and there are other regions and other places where the decisions are taken faster. And if we spend most of our time talking about the regulations and we continue like this, we won't be able to compete with other regions and other places. So I think speed, that's number one, but that should be something that from all places, people should have that in mind, that we need to be faster. We need to be faster, and we have to do it now. Otherwise, by the time we finish with the regulations and organizing everything, it will be too late already. So that's what I wanted to say, that we need to be aware that we need to be faster and we have probably to start more.
Okay. So yeah, thanks, Zach. Thanks, Zach. Of course, well, definitely we have to be faster, and therefore we have to take a lot more risk. And of course, we have to know why we put up these regulations and dealing with them. But time is running out if we are not taking the risk for implementing new technology and going into the new market of electric vehicles. So, are there any more questions coming up? Okay. So, yes, thanks for now. Thanks for all of you to be part of this panel. I'm glad that we are going to cooperate more. Hopefully we can share contacts at the coffee break. And what I want to put up here right now, the most important exhibition this year will be the Power to Drive in Munich again, from June 19th till June 21st. So I want to invite all of you to the most important exhibition in Europe for electromobility and renewables. And I hope we will continue the discussion and see new projects there. Because what's very inspiring at this huge exhibition here in Munich is there's so many companies there, there's so many guests there. It's so huge that you really get the feeling this is the future. Please come to this amazing exhibition in June 19th to June 21st. And we also have a booth there, and you're invited for good coffee there. Thank you.
Thank you.